Welcome to Rich Girl Energy. Today we are going to learn from an absolute expert and a champion for women in tech and entrepreneurship, Stacy Miller, on how to build our wealth while we build our brand. This is a topic that is so near and dear to our heart and our mission of women in tech and entrepreneurship. We know that as women founders, as women in technology, it can be a struggle to bridge the wealth gap, to bridge the investment gap. And I have seen for myself too many women who are taken out of the game in their careers earlier than they should be due to financial limitations or lack of financial wherewithal. Something that we sometimes talk about here too is that in my personal life, my personal history, generations of women in my family and myself have been survivors of domestic violence. And it is so much safer and easier for us to escape or prevent situations like that when we have financial freedom, when we have great career opportunities. And that really is what drives our mission here at Women in Tech and Entrepreneurship, to serve in the way that we do and to offer you the amazing free programming that we offer. Now, Stacy is an incredibly special person. She is a board member here at Women in Tech and Entrepreneurship. She leads our Access to Capital program, which really focuses on unlocking financial barriers and limitations that can limit our opportunities in life. That may be in the traditional sense that we often think of. It's the barriers to raising capital for our business. So many of you have participated in pitch deck sessions and workshops we've done in the past, fireside chats with venture investors. But that also looks like understanding business credit and how banks evaluate us for loans, understanding things like the fundamentals of all of the different capital raising vehicles that are available to us, from crowdsourcing to micro lending to grants to SBA loans to traditional lending, and understanding our personal financial wherewithal, making sure that we are in a position to set ourselves up for future success. We know it can feel daunting to navigate. That's why Stacy is generously lending her time to help us navigate that space. We also know if you are a tech founder, if you are even working in a startup environment, you don't always have access to some of the traditional vehicles that we think about, like a 401k. You may not have steady income right now. Those are unique challenges. A little bit about Stacy's background. She is a certified financial planner, and she is the founder and CEO of Bayview Financial Planning, where she helps women, widows, and military-connected families invest in their future with clarity and confidence. She is a seasoned speaker and writer, and she is an expert in the technical and emotional sides of the financial challenges women face every life stage. As a military spouse and a mom of 2 Gen Z sons, both who have graduated college totally debt-free, what a huge accomplishment thanks to her guidance. Stacy knows firsthand the value of planning ahead and building systems that work for real life. She lives, hikes, volunteers, and paddle boards here in Tampa Bay. And wow, what a great person to lead us in this, because Stacy is so she understands our challenges like no one else will. I'm really, really excited for us to get into today's session, and we'll take just a few minutes to do some women in tech housekeeping. I know many of you are familiar with us, you are members in our chapters, but some of you may have found us through this event for the first time. To connect you with our mission, it helps to understand that we're here to resource women in tech and entrepreneurship with near-peer mentorship, educational opportunities like this one, and a tremendous support network of cheerleaders, mentors, advisors, investors, and more. We do all of that for free, thanks to our volunteers, thanks to sponsors and board members like Stacy, because we believe that financial barriers, the money that you have in your pocket today, should never limit your opportunities for connection and success. We are currently 6,000 members strong, just 3 years into the game. More than 70% of our members are senior level in their career. They're vice presidents, they're founders, they're entrepreneurs. They're the most ambitious women in our space. And we do also invite and welcome those who are just tech curious, or they're curious about entrepreneurship. They're starting to dabble for the first time. In fact, we've had some fabulous success stories with one of our early community members and advisors who saw herself as, a great mentor for operations, but she never thought of herself as an entrepreneur. Through involvement in our program, she has gone on to become co-founder of an incredible startup in the ed tech space. And she is doing tremendous, amazing things and leaning into her self-belief, what she already had in her all along. And this community cheerleaded and supported her in seizing the things that she really wanted for herself. We offer a job board and a virtual community. Within that community, there are also channels for things like mentoring, whether you want to offer mentorship or seek mentorship. I think all of us benefit from doing both and will have value to bring in both of those spaces. We allow you to self-direct, even if you just have a one-off question or challenge that you're dealing with in your career or your business. It's a great place to go and ask questions. If you're one of the many women joining us today who may have been affected by tech sector layoffs, or who may be coming back worse after a career break, seeking, new opportunities in tech and entrepreneurship after raising your family or caretaking for sick parents, or shifting from a totally different field altogether. That job board is a great space where we allow anyone to share their resume, what kind of jobs they're looking for, anyone who knows of great open opportunities to post and share those. I myself, in my day job role as Chief Marketing Officer at an AI-led development firm, I'm always hiring out of this space. It is great to join, and if you haven't already, we're going to help you get connected there. We offer social events. We believe that those wonderful in-person connections are so super valuable. We know that in our lives, in these ambitious journeys, sometimes it's hard to get the advice or the support that we need. Even if our friends and families are our biggest cheerleaders, they don't always know what we do, right? They may not understand our space, and they may struggle to give us advice, or we may struggle to bring them up to speed on all of the unique dynamics that we're dealing with in order for them to be able to give us good advice. In this community, you're surrounded by peers who understand that journey uniquely and intimately. They've already dealt with those challenges. And so you're able to connect in such a way. While we are, of course, focused on helping with the growth in these sectors for you as individuals, another incredible benefit that we've seen is all of the beautiful friendships that have emerged from our communities. We also offer monthly workshops and fireside chats like this one. And we have a very, very big event coming up in February. It is really special. It is our first ever awards party. We are celebrating all of our members wherever they may be. We hope that you all travel in to Orlando for this incredible weekend. It is a Friday night, and so that leaves you the whole weekend to run around the theme parks and have a blast in Orlando. Orlando is so invested in the work that we've done, and so pleased with the impact that we've been able to create for the chapter that lives in Orlando, that they're doubling down on that investment and have awarded us a significant grant to support this party. We have over 100 nominees for awards. It is a really stiff competition and runoff. We're going to announce our 3 incredible winners at this party and celebrate what has been going on in their worlds and women in tech and entrepreneurship, and celebrate all of you. It is going to be incredibly fun, incredibly exciting and social. And it is our only paid event for the year, or that actually we've ever done. All of our 198 events up have been free because it is our fundraising event. We have grown to such a size that we now actually require to spend money to bring you the things that we do for free. And this is going to allow us to really, really level up those contributions and continue to support this free membership model. Seats for this are limited, but if you're able to join us and attend, our T-Rex friend Orlando Science Center is eating the QR code where you can get your tickets. They are on sale this week. Prices will be increasing next week, so we hope that you'll be able to seize on that great deal. And we'll send that out in email as well for those of you who want to investigate more. Oops. There we go. For all of our events, you can scan this QR code. We have so many of them. We'll be doing another 10 or 12 events this month alone. So there are lots of opportunities to connect. With that, I want to invite you to connect with Stacy. She is going to take the reins at this point in our presentation. She is going to start leading us through today's session. We invite you to connect with her on LinkedIn. This is also in your emails. If you registered for this event, you will have links to connect and follow along with Stacy. And if you're interested in that Slack community or some of the other resources that we've shared, and you haven't joined us as a member, totally free to do, by the way. There is the QR code on the right of the screen that you can use to do that. Stacy, are you ready to take the stage?
Yes, ma'am.
Born ready, right? Let me turn over the controls to you.
Okay, can everybody see my slides now? Thumbs up. Okay, terrific. Well, ladies, I am so excited for this presentation. Rachel and I have been talking about this for months, and I have been thinking about and preparing this very special presentation because I wanted it to be unique for this very unique and special organization that I believe in and support. So I am now ready to launch into Rich Girl Energy. We have these emojis at the bottom. I think everybody's figured out how to use them at this point. So if you're excited about jumping into Rich Girl Energy, let's see some of those emojis. Awesome. All right. I'm in financial services. All financial services start with disclaimers. And what this basically says is I'm just sharing education. I am not giving you individualized investment advice. That's all that really says. I wanted to start today's presentation with a definition of what I believe Rich Girl Energy means, what it means to me. And what I think it means is it's that feeling of peace that future you will be fully funded. Now, I share with my clients all the time this kind of vision of future you. And so I want you to just take a moment and think about future you. For example, yesterday I had a conversation with someone. They told me they took money out of their retirement account to buy a car because they got in a car accident and they didn't have car insurance. And of course, they had to buy a car. And so they took money out of their retirement account to do that rather than take out a loan. Well, when I rephrased it and said, what you did was you took money from future you to buy a car that's going to be probably gone in 5 years or less, they didn't like that feeling at all. So when you think about what you're doing today and how it affects future you and what future you is going to think about what you're doing today, it changes the perspective on everything. So if you want Rich Girl Energy and you want to be fully funded, the decisions that you make today are super important. You want that feeling of peace that Rich Girl is in your future, okay? The reason that I think this is really important, we all have our own money stories. I'm going to share mine. I've been married for 31, almost 32 years. Rachel said earlier, I'm a military spouse. My husband served 28 years in the Army. We moved 16 times during those 28 years. So every time we moved, I had to quit a job because we didn't have remote jobs over the course of the duration of the time that he was in service. So I was unemployed and underemployed the majority of my career. So still today, the entirety of my future retirement is based in large part on his retirement nest egg. So that's an insecure feeling for me. So when I think about future me, and I think about fully funding that, those are the things that motivated me to learn everything I could about personal finance. That took me down the road to become a certified financial planner. Now, not everybody is going to go all the way down that journey to become what I have become, but that was what my journey took. And it wasn't a straight road. Trust me, it was monkey bars to get there, but that's what took me on that journey. And these are the things that motivate me to do the work that I do, to have launched Bayview Financial Planning and focus on women, widows, and military-connected families, because I want to make sure to support and educate the people that are just like me and have the same feeling that they want to be fully funded in the future, but have the same kind of issues and problems that I do. So that's my journey. And we're going to talk about how we get there. Because women in tech and entrepreneurship, not that much different from a military spouse. We're aspiring entrepreneurs, we're entrepreneurs. We all have that monkey bar journey of our career progression. We all have that insecure feeling about what does our future hold from a financial perspective. And so I hope what I'm going to share today is going to give you a little bit of support. And I'm going to share all the full transparency that I can through stories, my own stories, my client stories, to help you get there to that place of rich girl energy. Here's today's agenda. I created something for this presentation that I'm really excited about. It's called the MIGHT method: mindset, invest, tools, and energy. And I'm really excited to present it to you today. And at the end of our presentation, you're going to leave with 5 power moves that you can take this month that you're going to be able to do right away. This is January. We picked this date on purpose because maybe you made a New Year's resolution, maybe you just want a fresh start, whatever it is. You're all here today, or you're watching this recording because you have financial goals in mind and you want to take action. That's what we're going to talk about today. So the MIGHT method that I created, that's going to take us on that journey to rich girl energy. Get in the right mindset. And we're going to do a deep dive at what that looks like. Invest in yourself. And again, we're going to take a look at kind of the duality of what that means. Not just looking specifically at investments, but what investing in yourself means from all perspectives. Use the tools available. We have so many tools available, especially as women in tech and women entrepreneurs. We have a ton of tools available. How can we maximize the potential of those tools that we have? And then finally, bring that rich girl energy. By the way, Rachel and Jasenia, stop me at any time. This can be completely interactive if somebody has questions as I'm going through this journey. And then there'll be plenty of time at the end for questions as well, okay?
Awesome. We are on the chat.
Terrific. All right, so let's start about getting in the right mindset. This is my friend Bonnie. She is a financial advisor as well. And this quote, I've told her I share this all the time when I'm writing, when I'm speaking, because I think this is the center of the universe of everything that we're talking about today. A woman with assets is an asset the world needs. Think about Melinda Gates and what she's done. Tremendous work. Do you agree? Anybody have an emoji they want to share, right? Tremendous work. A woman with asset is an asset the world needs. So that's what we're here trying to achieve. And that's the direction that we're trying to go. But we have some barriers to the entry of that goal. Now, there's the gender wage gap. You've probably heard of it. I've done presentations on this. I've written papers about this. I could talk to you about this for 3 weeks. I'm not going to do that. Or I literally would be, we would go well beyond this hour. We could be here for days. There's 2 points I want to make from this slide. Number one, the 2024 gender wage gap is 81 cents. What that means is for every dollar that a man earns, women earn 81 cents. What I want you to know is, for the first time in years, decades, that number went down in 2024. In 2023, it was 82 cents. Thumbs down, like thumbs down all the way. And the supposition is that that is a repercussion from so many things that happened in the pandemic. So much happened that was not good news for women and wealth, women in the workplace, women's careers, women in tech, women in entrepreneurship, like leaving work and then having to go back to the workplace. Women said, no, I'm not going to go back to the workplace because it's too hard to manage all the things. I'd rather take a lower paying job than go back to the workplace. Or I'd rather become an entrepreneur than go back to the workplace. So becoming an entrepreneur, you see where the arrow points, is 69 cents for every dollar that a man earns for self-employed women. So that, in effect, changes the gender wage gap as well. So what my hope is that women are taking a step back to take 2 steps forward. That's my hope. But I can't say for sure. You can see all the other demographics on this chart here. Another thing that I can tell you is that women are about to manage $30 trillion in assets. Statistically speaking, by 2030, women are expected to be managing $30 trillion in assets. So a woman with asset is an asset the world needs through inheritance, because women live longer, and through building our own businesses and building our own wealth, we're going to be managing $30 trillion. That's great for me, a financial advisor that specializes in women, but that's great for women all across the board. But you can see from this slide, we have some challenges. So that's part of the mindset. I want to kind of lay that groundwork. So we also have society, and we have these myths that tell us women and money, they're not great. But here are 7 myths that we're going to dispel right here and right now. First one, women are not good at math. Now, give me a thumbs up if you've heard about girl math. Girl math for me is funny. I think it's funny. Some people get offended by girl math. If you're familiar with Lucille Ball, she was a comedian back in the 50s. She had a show. And I think she was the inventor of girl math. And here's why. Back in her show, decades ago, she and her best friend Ethel they went shopping. And one of them got a dress on sale. It was $10 on sale, or it was $10 off rather. And the other one got a dress and it was $7 off. So they were so excited. They together saved $17. Yay, they saved $17. And so they were so excited to tell their spouses that they saved $17. And they looked at each other and said, what are we going to spend that $17 on? That's girl math, right? So you can approach it from a comedy standpoint and recognize that girl math is really a negative way of approaching budgeting or, calculations. Or you can take a deep breath and recognize that it's really being negative and putting a pink label on something that shouldn't be done. I take the cup half full approach and I try to laugh it off. But again, if somebody's being disingenuous with it, then I don't like it either. But girl math is still math, and women, and obviously the people on this call agree, are terrific at math. So myth number 1 dispelled. Men are better investors. I will say that men are different investors. And I'm going to put a pause there because my next slide is going to tell you a little bit more there. But men are different investors. So put a pin in that for a second. Women cannot manage money. Well, 75% of American households, of their household finances are managed by women. So that is dispelled just right there, because women are actually managing the majority of household finances. So number 3, dispelled. Number 4, women are overspenders. So of course we could be talking about purses. Everybody refers to that, or shoes. But you can see here, I have the image of a latte, because when some people talk about the latte, they talk about how if women just would stop spending $5 every day on a latte, they would be so much better off financially. So let's do the math on that. If you buy a latte every Monday through Friday, 50 weeks out of the year, assuming you take 2 weeks off a month, that's $1,250. That's not an insignificant amount of money. But if you invested that, instead of bought a latte, at say at the average annual return on investment of historical return on investment of, let's say, 10% per year. Yeah, okay, there's some money there. Or if you bought a latte every single day for 365 days, then that would be $1,825. Again, not an insignificant amount of money for the year. And if you invested it, okay, but is it really going to move your needle? Probably not. The way I like to look at the latte is something a little bit different. If that latte gives you the caffeine and the energy to work your butt off toward rich girl energy, to do the things you need to as an entrepreneur, as a woman in tech, then drink the damn latte. If that latte gives you the joy or the happiness, if you have a hot latte, if it fills you with warmth, or if you live in Florida and it cools you off and it gives you the joy, because maybe you're in a workplace you don't love, or you have a family drama that you can't deal with, then drink the damn latte. Invest in yourself. Think about it that way, okay? That's the way I approach the latte. So women are not overspenders. We've dispelled that myth. Women are not good savers, number 5. Now, I can tell you, I have many women clients, and every one of them is a great saver. In fact, some of them even lean a little bit towards saving too much. They're the ones that are afraid of becoming bag ladies, in which case I have to kind of encourage them to spend a little bit more. But what I want to dispel is the fact that women are not good savers. And using just the statistics of my own clients, I can tell you they're great savers. I'm a great saver. Everybody I know is a great saver. So I'm going to dispel that one as well. Women are not interested in investing. Rachel, I believe we had over 200 people register for this. So would you agree with me that we are interested in investing, everyone on this call?
Oh, yeah.
Following that myth just by that?
Not only that, but we have people who want to do risky, like aggressive venture style investing, who are talking about starting women's funds in the Southeast. So you have totally busted that myth, Stacy.
Yes, exactly. And then you leaned into number 7, women are too risk averse. And again, I'm preaching to the choir here, right? Women are not risk averse. They are absolutely risk takers. Now, the majority of women I would classify as risk aware. Okay, so I wouldn't say, and again, I'm classifying women as an entire category. Everybody's different. But I would say risk aware is how I would describe women. And I'm going to pause for 1 second to come back to that number 2. When women invest, they outperform men. And this is statistically proven by 1% per year. And we're going to talk about compounding in a minute. But if you beat men by 1% per year, year over year over year, you're kicking their butt. So women, when they invest, they outperform men. So I'm going to come back here, and I can see stuff flying on my screen, but I can't see what they say. Rachel, is there any questions or any feedback that anybody wants to share from this slide before I move on?
I mean, I wish you could see this chat. I'll send you the export. It is affirmation. People are fired up. We have a fun, buy the pillow at Home Goods from our favorite marketer in the data space, Kate Keith. We have amazing insight from Natasha. As a saver, something I am growing to learn is you build wealth, not save wealth. Investing is a must. And they're loving, risk aware, buy the damn latte. It's all positive. I don't see any questions yet, but reminder for those of you who are here, if you have a question, drop it in the chat. We'll make sure it gets to Stacy.
Yes. All right, so now we're getting to some of the nitty gritty where maybe some of the questions are going to come in. The invest in yourself part. Okay, so mindset, invest in yourself. This is the most unsexy thing I'm going to say all day, but really one of the most important things that you need to know and understand. To become rich, to get to that rich girl energy, you can't go and just spend all your money all the time. You have to live within your means. Rich people become rich in one of 2 ways. They inherit it, or they live within their means and they save and invest. That's it. So live within your means. The most unsexy thing ever is the first way that you invest in yourself. So that's number 1. Number 2, what we're all here to talk about and learn about is pay yourself first. I saw Etinoza is on this call. She did a presentation for Women in Tech and Entrepreneurship a few months ago. She and I had a consultation recently for Bayview Financial Planning. I wanted to rejigger my pricing strategy. No surprise to me, I was over-delivering and undercharging. And I launched this firm in March of 2024 with a goal that by year 3, I would start paying myself. I have the privilege, as I mentioned earlier, I have a spouse that's paying for the roof over my head and the food on my table. So I am able to just reinvest the revenue that I have coming in now. But something that Etinoza pointed out to me that, of course, I knew from a logical standpoint, but I think we all kind of get mired a little bit in this place, is I was thinking about paying myself out of the profit. So I'm going to pay my vendors. I'm going to, receive the revenue from my clients. I'm going to pay my vendors. And then the difference is how I'm going to pay myself. But she said, stop the presses, build in your salary, and then the profit is there on top of that. Pay yourself first. So something that I did after that conversation was I opened a solo 401k for myself this week, because 2026, the first way that I'm paying myself is through funding my retirement plan. And then as time goes on and I can start funding my salary, I'll do that. And then profit will come after that. So if you haven't had a chance to talk to her about pricing your own business, I really encourage that you do that. She has a wonderful small business consultation plan. Etanoza, put somewhere in the chat whatever people need to do that, because that was really beneficial to just realign my vision about paying yourself first. I am not taking from the profit. I need to put my salary in, and the profit is on top of that. Have candid money conversations. I've shared a lot of transparency with you already. Rachel posted a video, I think it was a WTE video earlier this week. And she talked about when she launched this business, how she built her savings account, moved into a 400 square foot apartment in Ybor to keep her expenses down, very transparently sharing about how it's hard to launch a business. You've got to have some savings from somewhere, or you've got to have a spouse that's paying for the roof over your head, and you've got to have funding, right? I'm the Access to Capital Chair, so we'll be talking more about where that funding comes from in 2026. When I launched this firm, I left a very lucrative partnership with another investment management firm where I was very successful, but I was not happy. And I took my money out of that, and that was my seed for launching this business. So, you have to have these candid money conversations. That's what this community is, what this Women in Tech community is all about, having these candid money conversations. We talked about the gender pay gap. How are you going to know if you're getting paid less than your male peer if you're not having a conversation about what he's making? But if you know that you're making less money than your male peer, you have the opportunity to go to management and say, we need to fix this. I need parity. So candid money conversations, so important. Protecting what you already have. I mentioned earlier about the prospective client that I spoke with, who had a car accident and pulled money out of their retirement to buy that because they didn't have car insurance. If they had car insurance, they wouldn't have had to make that move. So I don't sell insurance products, but life insurance, car insurance, homeowners insurance, those products are there for a reason at an inexpensive cost to protect what you already have. Hurricane insurance here in Florida. Protect what you already have so you don't have to take away from future you. You can continue building towards future you by protecting what you already have. Okay? And maximize contributions to your retirement plan every year. And we're going to get into the nitty-gritty on that in just a minute. Talk to your mothers, daughters, sisters, grandmothers, and girlfriends about money. You can talk to the boys too, but they probably are already getting it. But my sons, Rachel mentioned earlier, graduated college debt-free, not because I paid for their college, but because I told them that they needed to choose the college that was affordable to find scholarships, earn their way through it. So it was about decision making, and it was about having those conversations with them, and about them understanding that if they graduated college debt free, then when they graduated college, all the money that they earned could go towards future them. And they really liked that idea. Rachel, any questions?
We are all laser locked in, I think, hanging on your every word. Thank you so much, Stacy.
All right, so investing basics. Compound interest is the 8th wonder of the world. She who understands it earns it. She who doesn't pays it. This is supposed to be an Albert Einstein quote. Some people contest that, but I believe that to be true. And of course, he didn't say she, that's me. But Albert Einstein has something going on here, and here's why. If you had $100 and you are getting simple interest of 5%, you get $5 per period, $5, $5, $5, okay? But if you get compound interest, you get $5 the first period, and then you get $5.25 the second period, because you're earning not just on the 100, but on the 105. And then it keeps growing and growing and growing in an exponential way. So it starts real slow, and then it grows in an exponential way. That's what compound interest does. And you want to be earning it, right? When you understand it, you're like, I want to be earning that. How do I do that? This is what we're talking about when we talk about passive income. When people reference passive income and they say, yeah, I've got a rental property for passive income. A rental property isn't passive income. If you've got to go and, fix the toilets, and selling on Amazon isn't passive income, because you're doing something. It might be minor, but you're doing something. Passive income is like literally you do nothing except look at your money grow. That's passive income. Now, the flip side of it is where the problem is. This is where the debt problems come in. Here's an example. I lived in Seattle before I moved here to Tampa. I was at Joint Base Lewis and McChord, Washington, which is near Seattle. And Seattle is the home of many things, Starbucks and Nordstrom. And I really liked Nordstrom Notes, which is, the free dollars they give you, $3 that they give you when you spend money there. So I had a Nordstrom card, and I would use it periodically, but I would pay it off every month. So I never, ever paid any interest. But I got a statement or a letter last year that said they were increasing their interest rate on their credit card to 36.9%. And I was morally offended by that interest rate. I was just disgusted by it. So I canceled that credit card, and I wrote an article about it. And if you want, I can share it. It's on my website, but if you send me an email, or you DM me, or in the Slack channel, I'll send you the link. And I gave an example. So imagine I spent $1,000 Christmas shopping for my family, not hard to do, at Nordstrom. And I just decided to make minimum payments. And now Nordstrom is on the receiving end of the compound interest, right? I'm paying compound interest to Nordstrom. So I bought $1,000, and I'm just making minimum payments at 36.9%, if I recall correctly. It would take 6.5 years and $3,500 to pay for the $1,000 of whatever the heck it is I bought, all of which is probably broken, ripped, gone, forgotten by the time I got that paid off. So let me say that again. I bought $1,000 at Nordstrom. It would take me $3,500 and 6.5 years to pay it. That's if I never bought anything ever again. That's the flip side of compound interest. Whether it's credit cards or student loans or mortgages or car loans, whatever it is. So that's why this concept is the most important concept in finance. I wish they would spend 5 years in school teaching this instead of calculus, instead of all the other things. The most important concept. It would change the trajectory of people's lives if they understood the concept. Do you want to earn it or do you want to pay it? Of course, mortgages, like nobody can afford to just slap down money for a house. That's something that you probably have to do. But some of the other things are choices, like credit card debt, for example. So any questions on compound interest? Oh, Rachel found the article. I saw it popped up.
I want to read all of your articles all the time. I passed so many things that I'm bookmarking for later as I sought that out. Everyone should be checking out, subscribing.
Well, at the end, I promise you'll get the opportunity. Okay, so here are some investment assets. And the reason I share this is a couple of reasons. I have had so many prospects and clients come to me and say, Stacy, I have this 401k. I've been investing every single pay period, and it's never growing. Can you take a look and explain to me what's happening? And what happened is they were moving the money from their paycheck into their 401k, but they never logged in and selected their investments. So it's a two-step process. You put the money in the account, and then you have to select the investments. So these are some investments, some of which go into accounts, some of which are just in your home. But these are different types of investments, stocks and bonds. You're familiar with, of course, mutual funds and ETFs. ETF stands for exchange traded funds. Those are pooled assets. So I did a great video. I thought it was going to go viral. I think 3 people saw it. It was me making a pot of soup. And imagine an index fund, let's say an S&P 500 index fund. And there's 500 stocks in the S&P 500. And so they're all in this pot of soup. So you've got all the fruit, all the vegetables, you've got the broth, you've got all the spices, you know, the meats, the pastas, all the things. You stir it up because nobody can afford to buy all 500 stocks. It's not affordable. But if you can get a spoonful and still get all 500 stocks using that S&P 500 index fund, that's a pooled fund. And so when you buy a mutual fund, what you're doing is getting a spoonful of whatever that mutual fund represents or whatever that exchange traded fund represents. Those are pooled assets. Of course, real estate is an investment. Gold and cotton are types of commodities. Cryptocurrency, of course, you're familiar with. There are insurance products that are investment products. Private investments, your business, venture capital, all of that is private investments. And then collectibles like the art, the coin collection you have, the stamps, whatever. Those are all different kinds of investments. So my point is, you have investments, but if you have an investment account, you have to select what investments that you want to have in there. So next in the MIGHT method is using the tools that you have available. And the first one is the tax advantaged investment accounts. And we are going to go into a deep dive of what exactly those are. But the tax advantaged investment accounts have been created for us to be able to invest for our retirement in particular, but for other reasons as well, in a tax advantaged way, whether we're deferring tax until later or paying tax now and it's tax free later. We want to take much advantage as we can. And certainly when we have company matching, we want to take those opportunities as well. How many app developers do we have on the call today? Women in Tech and Entrepreneurship, we probably got a ton of app developers. So there's banking apps, budgeting apps, investing apps, things that are making your journey to rich girl energy easier, right? My January newsletter talked about the barriers to your success in achieving your goals, whether they are, your goal to lose weight, your goal to get more fit, your goal to, rich girl energy, whatever that goal is. There's a lot of barriers to success. They include not getting started, impulsivity, which is, the fact that you want everything right away, procrastination, forgetfulness. Like if it's one of my goals is to drink more water. If I don't have a water bottle near me, then I'm going to forget and not drink water. And lack of confidence. Well, some of these tools help you to get through those barriers to your success. Automation is one of the big ones. If you can automate your savings, like your paycheck gets deposited in your account and then bam, it automatically goes to your savings account, hands-free, that's terrific. Or automatically goes to your investment account, blam, terrific. Automation is one of the most valuable tools. Just set it and forget it. It's absolutely wonderful. Accountability partners. I would never go to the gym if there was not somebody there waiting for me. I would never go there. It's not my happy place. I recognize I need to go there. And so having an accountability partner is really important. It's one of the reasons why my clients like working with me, is because I keep them accountable as well. So there can be accountability partners in finance as well. Expert consultants, me, I mentioned Etinoza earlier, lots of different expert consultants. Of course, there's books, webinars, podcasts, and all kinds of learning opportunities. Though I will put a caution flag on what we call in the industry finfluencers, which are influencers in the finance sector. There's a lot of people that are not credentialed, that are not experts. They're just influencers that are saying lots of things that are wrong or not great. So I just caution you there. Workplace retirement plans. Many years ago, everybody had a pension, and the business was taking money and they were investing it so that it would grow, so that when it came time for you to retire, they had the money that they needed to pay your pension. And many businesses decided they did not want to take on that risk anymore. They wanted to shuffle that risk to the employee. And that's when they switched from the defined benefit plan to the defined contribution plan. And they said, okay, employee, you have to invest your own money. We'll help you through matching sometimes, but you have to invest your own money for your own future retirement. Now, this happened during my generation, Gen X. And so Gen X is the least prepared generation of all, because we didn't get the memo. We didn't know. Our parents had pensions, and nobody explained that we needed to do this or we were not going to have a retirement. Contributing to the 401k is just really super important. Of course, there's different kinds. Thrift savings plan is one that is for military and federal employees. So for the defined contribution, oftentimes there's matching. Please, 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 please make sure that you're doing at the minimum whatever your company is matching. But something we're women in tech and entrepreneurship. So if you don't have the traditional workplace retirement plan, there are still 3 methods for you to save and invest for your retirement: the SEP IRA, the simple IRA, and the solo 401k, which can also be called the individual 401k. And I told you I just signed myself up for the solo 401k. So there's still a way as a solopreneur, an entrepreneur, a small business owner, a self-employed person to continue to save and invest toward your retirement over time. Whoa. You're probably familiar with the traditional IRA and the Roth IRA. Traditional IRA means you're kicking the can down the curb and you're paying taxes when you take the money out of retirement. Roth IRA will be tax-free in retirement. There's a million asterisks here. It has to be done correctly. So I'm really oversimplifying that. But something I want you to know about, how many have ever heard of a spousal IRA? Give me a thumbs up. No one. Oh, one person. 2. Okay. A spousal IRA is one of my favorite topics in the whole wide world. Wonderful for military spouses, wonderful for entrepreneurs. Because if you do not have consistent revenue, earnings, you cannot contribute into a traditional IRA or a Roth IRA, because one of the first rules is you have to have earned income in order to contribute to those accounts. If you don't have earned income, say you're a stay-at-home mom, say you're an entrepreneur and you don't have any earned income, like I didn't the last 2 years, you can't contribute. But there is a rule that says if you're married and your spouse has enough earned income to loan it to you, then they can loan you that earned income, and they can deposit money into your IRA in the form of a spousal IRA. So you can continue to contribute towards your retirement through a spousal IRA. It's a wonderful opportunity. So here we are in the MIGHT method, bring the rich girl energy. And I said earlier, it's not about the bags, it's not about the shoes, but I'm not begrudging the bags and the shoes. You be you. I want you to live within your means. I said that at first, of course, but taking action, whatever that looks like on your financial journey, can be your #1 source of confidence when money is your #1 source of stress. And so let's look at 5 power moves that you can make this month to help you on that journey. #1, open a retirement account and set up automatic contributions. And don't forget to invest, right? We talked about automating. We talked about don't just open the account. You've got to select the investments. And you want the investments to align with your goals and your risk tolerance. #2, open and fund your Rich Girl Emergency Fund with a high yield savings account. And don't forget to set up those automatic contributions. Again, automate, set it and forget it. #3, build your salary into your pricing. Thank you, Atenosa. So important if you're an entrepreneur. And it takes a minute to get there, right? First, you got to pay your vendors, but it takes a minute to get there. But I am under 2 years, and March will be my 2-year anniversary, and I'm there. So I'm really proud of that. #4, schedule a monthly money date with yourself. Every Friday morning, I sit with my cup of tea at my table and my phone, and I look at my bank account, my credit card accounts, and I, go through and I pay bills, I manage things. In the credit card accounts, how they have the offers that you have to click on it in order to get the cash back. Like in last summer, there was a Dyson offer. Anybody have the Dyson air wrap thing, that does your hair? I wanted one, but there was no way I was going to spend $500. Well, the thing happened to be on sale, and there was a 10% cashback offer. Well, had I not clicked the button, I wouldn't have got it. So I got it for like $299. But anyway, that's what I do Friday morning. When I'm drinking my cup of tea, I have a little money date with myself, and I kind of review all of that. And number 5, of course, selfishly book an initial consultation with a certified financial planner. When you're looking for someone to help you, if it's not me, you're looking for a fiduciary, someone who will do what's in your best interest at all times. And you're looking for someone that is fee only. So fee-based is not fee only. Fee-based charges commissions, but fee only does not. So that's the end of my MITE method. That's the end of my presentation. But I did also prepare for you a download called Rich Girl Order of Operations, because one of the questions I always get is, what do I do first, Stacy? So I created this Rich Girl Order of Operations. By clicking on this, you'll be signed up for my newsletter. And as Rachel mentioned, a lot of that information that's on my blog, that comes through my newsletter. So I'm so grateful. I hope this was helpful. I really look forward to seeing you at a next Women in Tech and Entrepreneurship event. I will be at the gala next month. Please send me a Slack channel DM if you have a specific question. If I can tell you my story beyond what I was able to share with you today, I really look forward to connecting with you all in the future. So grateful to be here today.
Oh my gosh, this was so, so powerful. Do you have a couple of minutes in case anyone's feeling brave enough to ask?
I have all the minutes.
Okay. I think, when we're asking about money knowledge, sometimes it can feel uncomfortable or scary or embarrassing to admit that we don't know something. I've never heard of a spousal IRA, or Roth, rather, I should say. I wonder if you can tell us a little bit about, what does it mean to pay your partner back? What are the terms around that?
So a spousal IRA, obviously you have to be married. You have to be married, filing jointly as well. And what it means is, imagine I'm going to use a traditional male-female spouse for the purpose, because that's what I am. You have to have by the way, I have all the limits and all the things here if anybody wants specifics. But in 2026, you can contribute to a traditional IRA or a Roth IRA or a spousal IRA up to $7,500 per year, okay? If you're over 50, you can contribute an additional $1,100, so that would make $8,600. So what that means is, in 2026, if I did not have any earned income, so I had no reportable income, but my husband had his own reportable income of $8,600 plus another $8,600, so he made, let's say $20,000, then he has enough reportable income for both of us, and he can contribute to his and he can contribute to mine. It's when you contribute to an IRA, it's a permanent contribution. If you take money out of an IRA, you pay tax and penalties. So an individual retirement account is for retirement. You don't want to take money out of an IRA until you're 59 and a half. So it's, we'll call it a gift, but it's basically a marital contribution towards that spouse's retirement. Does that answer your question, Rachel?
Yeah, that's so interesting. Not the category that I'm in just yet, but it's so good, I think, for us to know that that's there. Charlene asked, what were the last 2 numbers in the prior slide?
Let me go back.
And then we've got a few more questions in here too.
Schedule a monthly date with yourself and book an initial consultation with a CFP.
Ah, love those. They're so, so good. We also have Ariel. This was really great. Do you have some suggested high yield saving accounts? I know some are higher than others.
Yeah. So high yield savings accounts are very closely aligned with the federal interest rate. And so as the Fed has dropped interest rates a couple times in the last year, high yield savings accounts have dropped. So what some people don't understand, if they opened a high yield savings account 2 years ago, let's say, and they're like, oh, I have a 5 point something percent high yield savings account. No, you probably don't, because it adjusts automatically. High yield savings accounts, those rates adjust. So that's number one. Number two, the place that I would look, because banks offer introductory rates and all kinds of different things. The place that I would look is NerdWallet. I think it's .com. NerdWallet.com, and they list like the best high yield savings accounts for January. And you're not just looking for the best rate, although absolutely you're looking for a competitive rate, but you're also looking for the most user-friendly app, because high yield savings accounts are not going to be at Bank of America. They're going to be at online institutions primarily. And so you want to find an app that's easy to use, and that you want to read the terms. Is there a cost to it? How quick can you get your money back and forth between your regular bank and the high yield savings account? So it's all about user friendliness. It gives like a 5-star ranking, that kind of thing. So you want to just read it. Number one thing is it should be FDIC insured. NerdWallet is not going to include anything that's not automatically FDIC insured, which means it's insured up to $250,000 per account. But anyway, so I don't have a recommendation specifically, because every once in a while, like every bank is going to offer an incentive rate, because they maybe want you to, change your auto deposit to that account to get that rate. You have to read the fine print, so to speak, to see what works for you in your situation.
Yeah, and I'll just add in here, WT, as we think about how to innovate and support this free membership model, we're launching an affiliate partnership with Ramp. They're offering some great perks for our members. Not everyone is going to be a good candidate for them. I've used them in past environments for expense management, but we ourselves do not have enough capital on our business bank account to work with them. But they do offer high yield accounts for their holders. So like they're at 4.6% as part of I think almost a loss leader to get you into their expense management system, right?
Yeah, there's a lot of promotional rates that'll change after a couple months, and a lot of them want you to, have the automatic deposits, or they want you to open another account, or there's a fee or something. Yeah.
Oh yeah. Yep. So true. Another really great question from Elle in here. How can we join program and have a consultation? So for consultation with you, Stacy.
How to have a consultation with me? On my website, there's probably 50 places where you can click a button. My website is bayviewfp.com. There's a button that says, click here for an initial consultation. Thanks for asking.
And that link is in your emails too. If you used Eventbrite to sign up for this, which I think most of you did, you'll have that. We have as well here, Dr. Sarah Matthews, do you have a recommendation for the best business credit card to hold, i.e. best rewards or rates?
Great question, Sarah. Same thing with the high yield savings account. It depends, but the caveats I'll give with the credit card are I am anti-paying interest. I'm sure you caught the gist of that from my presentation. So if you have a business credit card and it's at all possible to pay it off every month, that's my first choice. I just signed up for an Amex Platinum, a Delta Amex Platinum for the benefits and the points. I also have a Chase Sapphire business card, both of them for convenience, user friendliness, benefits. So while they're the best fit for me, they might not be the best fit for you, Sarah. I like, I not opposed to, local banks have great cards. You just have to find the one that has the benefits that fit the best for you. And, if you are carrying a balance, you want the lowest interest rate possible. So not really a true answer, but hopefully that gets you in the ballpark.
Definitely great guidelines and criteria to navigate there. Rachel Copley says, my husband is 100% P&T DIS retired, and we closed the IRAs a while ago. What can I open now?
You closed the IRAs. You mean you withdrew from them, Rachel? Can you come off mute?
Yeah, sorry, I was trying to maneuver it. Yeah, so we opened them when he was active, but we were with USAA, and they just let us down too many times with different types of accounts. And also, he was retiring and blah, blah, blah. So it at the time, there was like barely any money in it. We just closed them because we had emergency bills, was transitioning and stuff.
Yeah.
So now that he is a veteran and I'm the only one who can make taxable money, would you say use that for a Roth IRA or look for the spouse route?
So I see what you're saying. Great question. So you both can have an IRA. Rachel, are you an entrepreneur or do you work for a W-2 organization?
I'm currently just his caregiver from the VA, et cetera. So
Gotcha.
I'm looking for a job. I'm not currently employed.
Okay. So you both can have an IRA. You both can contribute up to the $7,500 as long as you have $7,500 of earned income. His pension is earned income. His disability income is not. So he has earned income, and depending on what his pension numbers are, he may have enough earned income to contribute. A spousal IRA is a term rather than an account. So I don't have a separate spousal IRA account. It's just we contributed that money into my IRA. We call it a spousal IRA, but it's not a separate, it's just my IRA. We just put not my earned income, his earned income into that account. So his pension money, did you say he was retired? You said he was retired, right?
He was disabled, retired. So he was injured, but it was friendly. So they retired him.
He's medically retired?
Yeah.
That's
no, it's all,
okay.
we're starting again. We're literally starting again.
So the disability income does not count towards earned income, but if together you are married and you filing jointly, if there's any earned income, if you get a job in 26, or if he has earned income either from a pension or any other earned income, you can contribute to your IRA. So the fact that you had an IRA and you closed it is irrelevant. You can open a new one. It doesn't have to be through USAA. It can be through anybody. And Fidelity, anybody, me, like anybody. And you can contribute it. You just have to have that amount of earned income. So let's say you only had $3,500 of earned income. You didn't have the whole 75, just as an example, and you wanted to put it in an IRA. You can open an IRA account and you can put $1,750 in each of your accounts if you wanted to. Does that make sense?
Yeah. So I would just, we are filing mutual. We've been doing that for our whole marriage. So like 12 years, we've been doing that. And would you say get the Roth IRA and just share it, or just get two separate accounts?
An IRA and a Roth IRA, they're individuals. So an IRA can only have one name. A Roth IRA can only have one name. So you both, between you could have 4 accounts. You each could have an IRA and you each could have a Roth IRA. I have an IRA and a Roth IRA. My husband has an IRA and a Roth IRA. So we have 4 accounts between us. You can contribute to an IRA as long as you have earned income. You can only contribute to a Roth IRA, which is the one that is tax-free later, up to a certain income limit. And so if you're married, that income limit begins at $242,000 combined. Okay, so we're probably not there for you, but for other people on the call, if you're in the $242,000 to $252,000, this year you can no longer contribute to your Roth IRA. But that doesn't mean that you close it or do anything. It just means you can't contribute this year. Maybe next year you're below the limit and you can contribute again. Okay, so you can contribute to a Roth, and when you have low income years, those are the best years to contribute to a Roth, because you're contributing low tax years, right? Because you're contributing money that's already taxed. So you're contributing low tax money, and then it's tax-free later. So it sounds like I can't give you, really advice without knowing a lot more about you, but it sounds like if you have a low income year, that a Roth might be the direction you want to go. But I can't say for sure without knowing a little bit more about your situation.
So you would say having 2 and 2 is like a goal to reach, like get towards that goal, like safety wise and everything.
More question in the chat. I'd love for you to set a consultation with Stacy so that she can dive really deep in this with you. It sounds like there are a lot of opportunities that she might be able to help you with more directly. I hate to cut you off, but I want to make sure that we can get to these last couple of questions that have been waiting before we get to the 1:30 timeout. So do, Rachel, go to that link and schedule that time with Stacy. Ankita shares, with all of the geopolitical turmoil, there's a lot of influencer buzz on where you should invest your money, and it can get a lot. And Stacy, you touched on this earlier, that influencers aren't always super reliable. Do you have any favorite resources, text, audio, video, to help keep up and make data-driven decisions?
Hard question to answer. I'll say this. Diversification is your friend. And by that, I mean, not that I ignore the geopolitical movements, but that taking into account the goals and the risk tolerance of my clients. And by the way, I invest in the same way. I use the same investment portfolio for myself as I do for my clients. And I shift it to the left or the right, depending on goals and risk tolerance, but same investment portfolio. But I do a low cost, diversified approach so that, when this over here is happening, this over here is, offsetting it. And when this over here is happening, this over here is offsetting it. It's the diversification approach. I'm using those pooled assets that allows me to take a lesser risk approach to all of that. I'm not choosing individual stocks for my clients because I was doing that in my last job and I couldn't sleep at night. So that's just my approach, is having a low cost diversified approach allows, and long-term investing allows me and my clients to ride through those bumps in the road. I hope that answers that question.
Yeah, that's super. And we have one last question in here, and then I promise we'll let you go, Stacy. Charlene shares, I have a 401k from a former employer. Do you recommend I leave it there or roll it over to a Roth or regular IRA?
Super question. It depends. And what it depends on is, what are the fees that you're paying in the 401k, and what are the fees that you would be paying in the next one? What are the investment opportunities that you have in the 401k, and what are the investment opportunities that you have outside of the 401k? Most 401ks have like maybe 20 options. But when you go outside of the 401k, the sky's the limit of what your investment options are. Also consolidation, like sometimes people have 5 401ks and they're tired of managing them, all over the place, and they just want to consolidate it into one account. So it depends, but the things that you're looking at are, you want to compare fees, you want to compare investment opportunities, and certainly, the person that you're working with. Like if you're happy managing it on your own, great. But if you can get a better opportunity, in fact, there's a blog on my website that talks about how to do this, both from a thrift savings plan and a regular 401k. It kind of lists the pros and cons of, what are the things, but the things are fees, investment opportunities, and consolidation. Those are kind of the big 3.
Wow, this has been so helpful and so informative. Stacy, you are a wealth of knowledge, and pun intended there, right? What a great session for all of us to build and grow in our wealth and our financial wherewithal. I truly, truly hope that all of you here who have stuck it out with us to the very end, I know some people had to jump to get to those 1 p.m. meetings. I hope that you learned a lot. I hope you felt you had an opportunity to be heard. If there are questions you didn't feel comfortable asking here, or weren't sure how to ask, or need to research your own state before you ask, please set that time up with Stacy. You've got that email out. And the next day or so, I'm going to be sending a great recap email to you all with some of the resources that Stacy has talked about today. And down the road, we're going to get this recording to you so you can revisit all of the awesome learning. Stacy, any parting words for our guests today?
Nope, except that I'm really grateful for you, Rachel, and the Women in Tech and Entrepreneurship team for allowing me this opportunity. I would love any feedback, positive or negative, about this presentation. The MIND method is brand new for this, like I shared. So if it worked for you, if it made sense, great. If it didn't, I'd love that feedback, because I'd love to do it again for other organizations. So thanks.
Thank you. You are such a champion for all of our members here at Women in Tech and Entrepreneurship. We're so grateful for you. I know we're a few minutes over time here, so I'm going to let us all run about our day. Happy New Year to you all. And Stacy, I'm excited to debrief with you later.